Attention Austin musicians and music industry professionals. Are you having a difficult time navigating these tricky waters? Well, the Austin Music Foundation is here to help you. The Austin Music Foundation is a nonprofit dedicated to strengthening and connecting the local music community with innovative programs that empower musicians, music industry professionals, and music businesses within Austin's creative economy. With expert panels, consultations, mentoring, and mixers, AMF's programs provide the necessary tools and opportunities to help the Austin music industry succeed. Now look, ever since COVID took over last year, everything's moved online. The consultations are online. They're at no cost to the artist or to the music industry professional. Just go to austinmusicfoundation.org. That's austinmusicfoundation.org to find out how they can help you. Austin Music Foundation is here to help. Let's get down. Hey gang, are you in a band in Austin? You're looking to make the leap from the band of schmoes to the band of pros? Well, you can start by rehearsing at Space. Space is a state-of-the-art affordable venue for rehearsal and recording located just a few short miles south of downtown Austin. 31 spacious rooms, great PAs, and a very helpful and courteous staff. They have adapted to the COVID standards, and it is a very safe place to rehearse. You move in one way, you go in one door, you go out the other, you bring your own microphones. That's Space Rehearsal and Recording. Find them at 512-448-9518 or go to spaceatx.com and take the talent train from Schmoesville to Protown with Space Rehearsal and Recording. Let's get down.
And you may ask yourself, well, how did I get here?
It's time for How Did I Get Here? And now here is your host,
All right, hello, I'm Johnny. I am your host. Welcome to the show. I hope you guys all had a good weekend, whatever it is you did this weekend. I had a good weekend. It was a Mother's Day weekend. I did not do much on Mother's Day as I don't have a mother, and I visited my family. I went down to Houston early on Wednesday. Had a gig there on Thursday, so I went down on Wednesday and stayed with my grandma and my Aunt Olga. Hung out with my Aunt Christina, got to see my Aunt Maria. See everyone, make sure everyone's doing all right, you know, and do a little pre-Mother's Day hang. My grandma's going to be 98 in a couple weeks. In fact, I'm going this Saturday to her birthday party in Houston, going back. I've been going every week, which is good. It's good, man. You know, your grandma's going to be 98. It's time to go down and visit as much as you can. So that was good. And then Thursday, Skyrocket played at this tennis tournament at the Houston Racket Club. The Houston Racket Club. Fancy place. We played outside. It was nice. It was fun. It's fun. It's fun to get out and play with the band again, you know, at a place. I mean, we had to play at a low volume because it was there were neighbors around that were bumming out. In fact, we got shut down a little bit early because of that. But so far, 2 of the 4 shows that we've played have been shut down by the police twice. Or that we've had 2 shows shut down by the police. So out of 4. So we're batting at 50% getting shut down by the police because things are going on outside, you know. People are doing stuff outside so that it's safe. So Friday I came back and hung out with my girlfriend Terry. We went to have dinner with some friends, and we ended up going to Sam's Town Point here in Austin. Have you guys ever been there? I'd never been there before. And I went down there and it's awesome. If you wonder, like, if those of you that live in Austin and you sit around wondering, like, well, what happened to Austin? What happened to old Austin? Dude, it is all happening at Sam's South Point. Like, I walked in and saw people I haven't seen since the 90s. It was great, man. I got to see my old friend Bill Carter. Haven't seen him in over a year. And got to see my friend Lisa, friend Greg, my friend Eric. A lot of people I haven't seen in a while. It was like Austin. It was like old school Austin happening at Sam's Town Point. So get down there and check it out. I got to see this guy, Chris Scruggs, who is Earl Scruggs' grandson. And he was playing like this, all music that was all from like the 40s, 50s, and 30s and stuff. Fucking amazing guitar player. I think he's the bass player for Marty Stewart or something. That's what he does normally. Anyway, pretty exciting stuff. And then Saturday, I went to a paella party. My girlfriend had a friend that had a paella party, so I went to that with her. It was great. I sat down and talked to a couple people that were from Baton Rouge. Went to LSU. We talked about hospital stuff and COVID, and It was not. It's nice getting out and like seeing people, meeting people, and like sitting down. It was all outside. You know, this paella party was outside on these people's gorgeous property with this cool little pool and a nice dog. Bunch of people hanging out I didn't know. Talked to this old dude about music stuff. He was kind of he was one of those guys that's like one of those old Austin guys. A guy that would be at Sam's South Point or Sam's Town Point. He would be there. And so we had a talk at the end of the night. It was good. Anyway, all around a great weekend. It's good to get out and see all these people. Hey, gang, my new single, Sun, Earth, Moon, is available now on Spotify and all the streaming services. Wherever it is that you stream and download your jams, you can now listen to Sun, Earth, Moon. So I suggest please get out there and listen to it. I'll put a link to it in the podcast to like Spotify and Apple Music and everywhere it is. Amazon Music, everywhere. Just be like, hey, Google, play Sun, Earth, Moon by Johnny Gowdy. And Google might play it for you. So there you go. All right. Things are going good. I hope you guys had a good weekend. It feels good. Starting to feel a little bit better. You know what I mean? I'm starting to feel the anxiety go. I'm starting to feel the anxiety go out of my body from the last year or 13, 14 months, however long we've been in this weird crisis. It's been like 14 months now, right? It was the middle of November. Anyway, starting to feel better. I'm glad that I'm vaccinated. I'm glad to go places, even though they're outside and stuff. I'm glad to see people that I haven't seen in a long time. I'm glad to meet new people. It just feels good, right? Feels very good. Gang, I have a great show for you today. Ady Hernandez from ADH Project is my guest here. He's been living in Nashville for the last year or two, but he moved back to Austin, and he's back. You guys might remember Ady from Dahebegebees. He also plays guitar for the McCrary Sisters. They're currently not touring yet because the shows that they do are too big to kind of like gather people. But ADH Project has been playing. He's played a show at 1 to 1 last month, and he just played this last weekend at Come and Take It Live. So yeah, people there. He's getting out and he's playing. And Ady's never been on the show. There've been people that've been like, "Hey man, you got to have Ady Hernandez on." I'm like, "Oh yeah." And then finally we did it. We had the talk. We did it over Zoom. He's back in Austin taking care of his family, getting back into music. He took the 88, he went to Nashville and he started a new ADH project there. So he had an Austin band and a Nashville band. I guess he still does. If he goes back to Nashville to play, he's got a band there. And he's been doing all kinds of really interesting things. There's a great EP of his called Lonely World that's available. You just go to adhproject.com. That's 80H. project.com. I'll put a link to it in the text of this podcast. Anyway, it was great getting to talk to Ady. I didn't know his whole story. I didn't know him very well over the last few years, or over the last like 25 years, or however long I've actually kind of known him. Anyway, it was great getting to sit down and talk to Ady, even though it was over Zoom. I'm looking forward to seeing him in person. And you can find him at adhproject.com. Check out their album Spectrum. Check out his EP Lonely World. Fantastic stuff. Please enjoy my conversation with the immensely talented Ady Hernandez. Let's get down. Moving back in June, man. What's bringing you back?
Yeah. What's close to the family?
Oh yeah. Do you have
really just family? Honestly, my mom's getting up in age. She can't drive anymore and stuff like that. So,
oh right.
When pandemic hit, I got off the road, came home, and I got to spend a lot more time with her. I noticed they're in their twilight years.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's important.
So yeah, man, I'll be heading back June. Absolutely.
Well, I know that people.
And it's weird that I've already been in Nashville. Do what?
Oh no, go ahead. You've already been to Nashville. What?
What were you saying? I'm sorry.
No. Go ahead.
I was in Nashville for 4 years already. Now it just blew by unbelievably fast.
What took you to Nashville?
But Well, man, my whole thing in Nashville started with an invite. I got invited to go and just do some recordings. It was just like a 2-week thing, and the 2 weeks while I was there turned into 2 months, and then it just kept going on and on and on. And then I was like, well, I probably should just go home and pack up and give it a shot here. You know what I mean? Yeah. Just give it the opportunity. But yeah, it wasn't really like a thought out, like, hey, I want to move to Nashville. Right. It just kind of, the opportunity opened and the window was there, and it just kind of just kept happening. So yeah, man. And I really enjoyed it there. So, I'm still keeping my gig with the McCrary Sisters. Okay. Which is the touring act that I travel with. So I'm hoping I can just, hang on to that as long as I can. I mean, they do a lot of fly dates, or they used to, right before the thing. Yeah. So we'll see what the future brings, but yeah, definitely. So and that's another thing, man. I think all of this really kind of just fortified my wanting to be home with the family, definitely. Be close. Yeah. And this has been a weird year for guys like us that like cut our teeth playing as much as you can, because that's kind of the system here. It isn't like you play once every 3 months. It's like a real thing. Like, you have weekly gigs, you have all this kind of stuff. Like, we're used to going to work like that. How has this year been for you? Yeah. Outside of getting to be with your family, has it been hard? Well, definitely it's been hard. I mean, music's always been an escape. I mean, it's an escape for us, man. It's mental health. Yeah. Getting to perform and release and the interaction with people. I mean, for me, that was the big thing, man. I miss people, like, just literally, right. You know what I mean? It's, and I don't know about you, but for me, the live streaming stuff and all that it's not the same. Like, I did a couple of them, but it just, I mean, it wasn't my thing. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I grew up on a stage, you know what I mean? Yeah, man. Like, full volume and rock it out, and, and being around people and the energy, really, it's the energy. So I didn't really do too well on this live streaming stuff, man. No, it was rough. And it also been fun. You know what I mean? It's just not my thing. Yeah. I mean, but there are some great videos that you have out there. What was that New York to Nashville connection thing? Oh, okay. Yeah. When I first moved to Nashville, I met some people that they were doing this production thing where it's 3 producers, one from New York, one from Nashville, and then whoever else is part of the project. And they invited me in, man, to do a song. And we went into the studio, and we actually, that video is we did 3 live takes, and then they edited it all down. So it's a live track. You know what I mean? Yeah. It sounds really produced and polished, but they do great work. You know what I mean? The band is like a core band. They work for everybody. So yeah, I was lucky to run into that. I was introduced by a couple of friends, this guy Ryan Connor and Josh Blaylock. They play with a group called Dynamo. If you ever look them up in Nashville, amazing band. They're like a snarky puppy with vocals, progressive jazz stuff, and with soulful singing. So really good group. They introduced me to a lot of people there, man. They really were my anchor when I got there. They introduced me to everyone. They let me feature on their shows. They introduced me to all the clubs, just really because I had met them here in Austin while they were touring and they needed a date. And I put them on my set. I just let them, I was like, just take over my show since you'll need a date. I'll just be a fan. Then we ended up sharing the night and we became friends. So when I moved there, they were beautiful. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's just kind of like Austin was when I first moved here, man. When I first moved to Austin, everyone was just, super nice and introduced me to everyone and really good family and community. Obviously that's still here. We're talking, we're family, you know what I mean? Yeah. We come from the same little streets. We have the same running crowds, and it's like we're still here helping each other, which is amazing. You know what I mean? It's like it's a testimony to what we do. Like, honestly, it is a family, extended family. You know?
Yeah, it totally is. It totally is.
I got to experience it there, man. Not just there, but here in Austin.
Yeah. There was a thing I was at a few years ago, like maybe 3 years ago. It was, you know, a thing where a lot of people were playing. I wasn't playing, but I was there, like, drunk at backstage. And I was talking to John D. Graham, and we were talking about this very thing. And it was like, you know, there's your weird cousin, so-and-so. You know what I mean? Like, we are all, it is an entire family of people, you know? That rallies around. So I was trying to remember.
Absolutely.
So what year was it that you moved here?
Absolutely.
What year was it that you moved here?
Man, I moved in 91, I believe.
Okay.
Was when I moved to Austin. So, but I was, you know, I lived in Temple. So we, you know, as young kids, we were coming to Austin to go to the Ritz to go see shows. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember the Ritz on 6th.
Yeah.
That's where all the metal shows were happening. And, dude, that's where I met, like, Jason McMasters and Watchtower.
Yeah.
And, like, dude, San Antonio Slayer. And, like, dude, all the, you know, dude, all that scene. I was like 15. Man, I saw every band there. Anthrax, SOD, to, like, you know, that was the spot, man. Metal Church, man. I remember all kinds of shows in that place, man. It was such a cool spot, man.
Yeah, that was it. It reminds me of like a sweaty room. That's all I ever thought of it as. I only saw a couple of shows there, but
oh, dude,
when they changed it, do you remember like in the mid 90s when they had the upstairs thing going on?
Dude, I saw Metallica in there.
You did?
It was so awesome. Yes.
What year did they play the Ritz?
Man, everyone played in that room, man. It was so cool, man. And then I remember it was like once the Ritz started kind of, you know, going down, we were always going to the back room.
Yeah.
On Riverside to see all the shows. And that was a good time. That's when I first moved there. That was the 90s, you know. And, of course, 6th Street was so different, man. There was music in every bar, like, you know, a country band, a jazz band, a Latin band, you know, and then they had your typical cover bands, you know. But man, I used to love it, man.
Do you remember remember the King of 6th Street?
It was such a breeding ground, you know.
Yeah, totally. Remember the King of 6th Street?
Oh man, are you kidding me? Cinderella. Dude, he was in front of Catfish Kitchen. Dude, he had that song Cinderella. He used to always do that. Dude, he was, man. I remember when he started getting in trouble, you know, and when he was fighting City Hall, because I was like, man, he's like, you know, legendary status, you know, for, you know, a pillar of, you know, an icon in Austin. They're messing with him. I was like, oh, this is just terrible. But yeah, man, I remember him very well, dude, the King.
Yeah, man, that guy was cool.
Good
so
guy.
When can
you do that anymore in Austin?
Oh yeah, I think there's, I don't know, man. You know, last night I went to Antone's to see Brandon Temple and James Robinson and like Jerron Marshall do this thing. It was awesome. Mm-hmm. And
oh yeah.
You know, I will tell you, after not seeing a show for a long time, there was a point in the middle of it, Ady, I just started crying, like for real. And I think it's because I haven't been in the same room with people making magic. You know what I mean? And like Brandon, you know, like those guys know the songs, but they're flying by the seat of their pants. You know what I mean? You're watching something that can't be duplicated.
Yeah.
And you're watching like the best people do this thing.
Absolutely,
yeah.
Man.
It hit me in the chest. Anyway, going downtown, when I was on my way down there, I drove down 6th Street and I looked at the old Steamboat, and now it's almost like I can't even remember which door was Steamboat anymore. I have to go from Paradise, and I can't do it the other way because it's been so long.
Right? It's a,
Yeah,
man. It has been, and it, dude, it's so crazy, man. I remember when, Cecilio, who played drums with us, had a loft with Ray Prim above Steamboat. Do you remember any of that?
I totally remember that. Yeah.
Man, above Paradise.
Yeah.
Dude.
Those were the days, man.
Good times. Good. And we'd walk down the Black Cat. We'd walk down that was the little, we'd have a rehearsal with the windows open and stuff, we'd rehearse so hard, and then we'd run to Black Cat, and then we'd run to Steamboat to top it off at the end of the night. Dude, man, that was every night. Like, who cared we didn't even care who was playing, and then at that time, I remember Antone's was still, on the drag.
Yeah.
So it was like, occasionally we'd go over there. You know what I mean? It's like, we always made sure we knew who was there, but man, that was the little circle right there.
Right.
It was 2 blocks,
Yeah.
It was everything. It was the world, man.
Yeah, totally.
Think about Push Monkey before. Remember when they were
Mad Hatter?
In the early days. Mad Hatter.
Yeah.
Yeah, he used to take the drum. My first experience, man, he pulled that big drum out in the middle of the floor and poured beer on it and started hitting it. It got everybody wet, dude. I was like, oh, dude, I'm home. I was like, this is so awesome.
Yeah.
That was like one of my first times to see the Mad Hatter. Yeah, dude.
Did you play?
That's when I met him.
That's when you met him? When did you start Dahebegebees?
Yeah, that's when I first. Man, short about 95, 94, 95, somewhere in there.
Did you guys, were you guys a Black Cat band?
No, we weren't. But we got to play the Black Cat. But, it used to be you played the Black Cat, and then if you did okay, they moved you over to the Steamboat.
Yeah.
Kind of thing like that. But, man, our ticket was we'd play anywhere. And one night we were playing at Hondo's. I don't know if you remember Hondo's. It was right next to Steamboat to the left.
Yeah.
It was just this little bitty, we were in the window. And one night we were playing, and Dave and Danny just walked in the window and said, you want to come play next door, So that's kind of how that one worked. We got lucky.
Yeah.
We were just next door in the window,
So
they were nice enough to come out there and get us,
Didn't you have a weekly night there?
We sure did.
Was it Thursdays?
At the you're talking about Steamboat?
Yeah.
Or at Honda's?
At Steamboat.
Steamboat, we started on a Monday, man. They put us. We had to do the whole cycle of Monday at midnight. And all that, and then bring the tickets. You remember you said to get those tickets?
Oh God,
the color tickets, dude. It was like
I hated the tickets.
Ticket, I believe it was like a $2. Yeah. $2 ticket, and the house gets $1 and you get the other $1. I remember that, man, distinctly. And then you get the little bundle at the end of the night. It's all wrapped up. You're like, I don't want to count these. Oh, dude.
And you're trying to get your friends to come. Oh God, that was a rough. That was rough. You know what? No one was complaining to City Hall then, and that sucked.
We're beating the streets.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. We were like beating the street. We go everywhere. We go to all the breakfast places, try to hit up people. But it's different. We used to hit up the college a lot, man. Like for some reason, the college was more connected with the music environment in the 90s. I don't know if it is anymore. I don't know how that works, but it just seemed that way. Like I was always introduced to people that were part of the school. You know what I mean? Like. And that's kind of how we got a lot of private parties
But don't you think that's
just a little different?
Don't you think that's our age? Because I think that too. I'm always like, where are all the college kids? And then they are somewhere. You know what I mean?
They are somewhere. They're doing something. They definitely are, man.
They're not lining up to see Ady and Johnny from the 90s.
Yeah.
But the interesting thing is, like, Austin does have a culture of, like, since the music was so prevalent at that time in everyone's life, and there was that sort of thing where, I mean, I don't want to sit here and just talk nostalgia the whole time, but there was a thing where like the local radio stations, KUTX and Sun Radio still do it, but like it was like the fucking KLBJ like added Mr. Rocket Baby to their playlist like a regular, like we were Aerosmith or something.
Playlist.
Yeah. I mean, it's insane.
Yeah, man. And dude, when I remember they used to go to all the shows too. They were always there. You know, they were like, if they weren't announcing the artist, they'd be in between the breaks, you know, just talking about events.
Or downstairs
dude, I used to
at
see
Steamboat.
Them all over the place, man. I mean, yeah.
Johnny Walker,
dude,
Loris,
like,
Dudley and Bob.
They were always active.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Dude, Johnny Walker, my first, like, he introduced us at Steamboat, and I guess he had just shaved his head or something for the first time or something. So he was like wilding out, dude. He poured water all over his head, and it went all over my pedal board and stuff. And then we were supposed to start, and I like had a cable go out, like, you know, it's like, and it was my first real big show at Steamboat, and I was like, I had to unplug my pedal board and go straight into the amp, dude. It was, I mean, dude, just great times. You know what I mean? Love that dude, man. But that was my first encounter with him. I just started laughing when it happened. You know what I mean? It was just hilarious. But yeah, man. They were very active, very active.
Yeah, it was very active. And I mean, that KUTX and Sun Radio still get real involved with stuff, but they are independent stations. Good. You know what I mean? It's not like the big major. Yeah. It was a different level.
Absolutely.
So this is interesting because when you were talking about coming down and seeing the metal shows, so you started out as a shredder?
Man, I grew up, Well, I grew up breakdancing, man.
You did?
I wanted to be, you know, New York City breaker or some shit, man. But yeah, dude, we grew up with music. My father's, you know, little Joe La Familia. And
right.
So I grew up with music. Music was always it was just there. It wasn't like I grew up and decided, hey, I like music. It was just an instrument there. And I just started picking it up and playing, you know. So that was kind of like how my musical thing kind of started. You know what I mean? It really was just it was just there. Everyone was doing it around me. I did.
Right. You
know what I mean? It was just like water.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how that started, you know, the musical journey into becoming just a musician. But later years, it's when, you know, once I moved here, I started running into people going to all these shows.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I met Lonnie, I met Cecilio, I met, you know, Michael Erdy. You know, Michael Erdy was the first person I ever met. And he introduced me to everyone. So he's like my oldest, dearest friends, you know, that I have, man, from the musical community. He introduced me straight to Don, Les, Brandon. He like took me everywhere and was like, you know, these are all good. Ray Vaughn. He introduced me to a lot of people that were nice, you know, not only like Phil Redmond, man, he became a great friend of mine. Just, you know, I was just some kid coming up. They were already gigging. They were already rocking the streets. You know, they were already at it. So man, it's heartwarming. That's why I remember all these things, because dude, it really is very, very heartwarming, man. All the things that I've seen and what people do for each other in this community, man. It's heartwarming, man. It's my favorite memories, you know?
Yeah.
I cherish them.
It's interesting that you say that, like those guys that were gigging, like when you weren't gigging. Because I remember, like, I lived here when I was like 16 for a little over a year. But I knew like Mark Hallman and Michael Ramos and these guys. And I played in their band even though I was a kid. And, but I remember dudes. Do you remember Brian Sebastian? Tall dude. He played with the Bone Daddies, that world beat band.
Okay, yeah. Yes.
Yeah, it's
the
fucking
Bone Daddies. Oh, yeah. Dude.
Yeah, take you back, man. I just listened to 10 Hands the other day. Remember them?
Yeah, dude.
You remember that band?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Dude, there was a bunch of people we got to play with through that Steamboat cycle, man. I And I remember Sunflower.
Oh yeah, baby.
Man, they were so young when they were hit, dude. They were badass, man.
Yeah, they were like little kids.
They were little kids, dude.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that scene was really special. Were you like a Billy White fan, being a guitar guy and everything, a Watchtower guy? Yeah.
Man. Yeah. Absolutely, man. I mean, the first encounter with him was with Watchtower when he was with Jason McMasters doing that gig. That was and then shortly after that he got like the Dawkins gig or whatever. And,
right.
You know, then just on and on and on or whatever. But yeah, he was always one of my favorites, man. Him and Roger Zombach. I don't know if you remember him. He was out of San Antonio. He kind of took Billy's spot with Watchtower.
With Watchtower?
When Billy jetted. Yeah, when he went with Dawkins. Both of those guys were just amazing. Ron was more like the Frank Zappa. Like he had these weird arrangements and the songs were crazy. You know what I mean? Like just real genius. And Billy was, man, he super nice. I mean, I remember he pulled out his guitar. He was like, "Oh, you're into Yngwie Malmsteen?" I was like, "Sure." I think I was like 15 or 16. And he just starts going at it, dude. He's just like playing just like him. And I'm like, I can't believe what I'm seeing. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, I'm watching this dude just right here. Like he just pulled his guitar out and started playing. I'm like, damn. But that's how cool everybody was. You know what I mean? There was no, that I didn't see because I was young, you know. Right. I'm sure there was politics in the game back then, but just good memories.
There is politics, but there's a thing that, like, I mean, having lived here so long and being a part of it and like trying to do what I can to be there for the next generations as well, that just like people looked out for us, you know, look out for the next guys. There's this thing, because since there's no real like industry here, like there's no labels, you know, Dahebegebees isn't going to be at your show at Hole in the Wall, probably.
Absolutely.
There's like people can champion each other. We have the room, you know, in our egos to help each other out and hope that each other do well, because
absolutely.
Right. Yeah. You know what I mean? I feel like, you know, there's people that have always bitched about it and thought that there should be more quote unquote industry here. But I've always thought like that would kill whatever it is that makes this place, you know?
You're 100% correct, man. I have this conversation quite often. People, they ask me, you know, first is always, why'd you move to Nashville? And how different is it, you know, playing wise and, you know, just work wise. And that's one thing I always tell them. I'm like, well, Nashville has industry. There's 300 nationally touring acts going through there every 30 days. There's 13 markets all within a 5-hour radius. Jesus. So when you're there, it's a hub. It's just Yeah, man, it's just a hub. You know what I mean? And the way it works is Nashville's all about writing. It's all about a song. You know, it's all about writer rounds. You know, the collabs. That's like 70% of the game there. The rest is playing locally. You know, it's not as like here. There's no industry, so everyone's just playing. Yeah. That's all you got. You know what I mean? You're putting your show on. And the other plus to that is not having industry here allows everyone to just write and create their own true, you know, like their own true passions. You know what I mean? And a Nashville or a New York, there are like avenues everyone's trying to stream up to get to the industry. You know what I mean? Certain sounding songs, certain style genres. You know, you start seeing more of that. But here in Austin, everybody's just musically free. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's why it sounds so different here. Man, when I showed up, they're like, "You're from Texas." And I'm like, "How do you know?" I can just tell, you know, by the music. Yeah. Like what's coming out of you does not sound like you're from any other, you know, state. Like I know you're from Austin. I'm like, "Yep." You know, they can. It's amazing what we have here. And I always say that, you know, we're free to do whatever. I mean, you'll find all kinds of hybrid genres here, you know, and that's great, man. But it would be nice to have some more outlets for industry somehow, you know. for Austin. I know BMI. I met the guy from BMI. I guess he's been here a couple of years. Mitch.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
Mitch. Really good guy. I talked to him for a little bit and just picking his brain about Austin or what he thought of Austin, because he actually came from Nashville.
Yeah.
So I just, just wanted to know what he thought. And he's a guitar player, I believe. So, he knows the clubs, he knows the game, he's a musician. But he really has fallen in love with Austin. And I think that's great, man. If he's here and he's fallen in love with the music and the venues, he's going to, really pour his heart into it. So he's going to help a lot.
Right.
But, that's great. A little at a time. And I know Black Fret's doing a lot of good stuff.
Yeah.
Promoting and helping people and be stable, and helping with their projects, getting past, the biggest costly thing is the studio, So that's awesome, man. It's growing. I don't know what Austin would be like if, Cameron Randall, remember when he was here with Arista and all that?
Yeah.
That was a quick minute. He was here for a minute, and I don't know why it didn't work out, but there's definitely not a lack of talent here.
Right. Did you guys have were you guys looked when like Dahebegebees? Did you guys have any flirtations with the labels?
We actually got picked up by Robert Allen, which is now Taylor Swift's manager.
Oh, cool.
He was Tim McGraw's. He was running with Tim McGraw for a long time. When we were in New Mexico playing a show for Clear Channel, and he saw us, and he introduced himself, and he said, "Hey, when you're done with your tour, give me a call. Let's meet up." And they came to Austin, and we had a meeting, and he kind of signed us. He kind of took us in as a project, I would say. But he got us on with a bunch of, in talks with a bunch of people. He had us touring in a bus. We did shows with like Heart and Styx and all kinds of bands. We did we did a bunch of weird work, Country Jam.
What years
we played?
What year was that?
Like Alison Krauss, Sarah Evers. We did like all this weird stuff, man. We went all over the U.S., but nothing ever. We never really signed a deal. You know what I mean? We were kind of in that stage of the Dave Matthews and Blues Travelers era coming to an end, and the new thing was the John Mayer. That. In fact, when I was sitting in Nashville with creative artists, I was sitting in the office at Creative Artists, and John Mayer's agent was in the meeting with us, and he was like listening to our music. He's like, "Oh, this is perfect. We're going to get you on the road. We want you to open for John." And I was like, who's John? Like, I didn't know, you know what I mean? I was like, yeah, that sounds great. Let's do it. And then it turned out it was, John Mayer ended up having a really good career. But that's just how those things work. You know what I mean? It's like you're right there. You're talking to them. You're in the meetings. And then it just kind of, it is what it is. It's the business. But yeah, dude, we got. If you count that, I think that we made it. You know what I mean? We got to a level where we were in the room, we were in the conversation, we were on tour, we were in a bus, and when it ended, it hurt, but like it was something to be proud of. We did it by sheer will. We would just go out and play, and we were just hustling. You know what I mean? So. We didn't really have an agent or anybody pulling for us in those days, nothing. It was just us working.
Yeah. It's interesting because you wonder now, like looking back, you're like, well, looks like Danny Crooks and David Cotton could have been really good fucking A&R guys. Because a lot of the bands that they helped or what nurtured, you know what I mean?
Nurtured, for sure. Yeah.
Ended up
absolutely
going places.
I mean,
a lot of them.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, we look at Charlie Sexton. I mean, Doyle Bramhall, all those crew. I mean, they're all doing big stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like they're all doing amazing music still today. So and that was a big it's a big reason why I would always be at Steamboat or Antone's. I was following those dudes that, every word, every lick.
Yeah.
So it's like super fan,
Yeah.
But dude, we just did a reunion. Me and Mike Bernals. Have you seen the Bernals yet? Mike and the Bernals. They do the every Sunday at Sam Sound Point, but we did I guess the songs of Doyle Bramhall Jr. We just did that over Easter.
Oh, no shit.
Dude, it was so fun. It was Jorge Castillo on guitar, me, Will Owens, and we all three did 4 songs. So we did a full set, like a 12 song.
What songs did you do?
Of all Doyle tunes. Dude, I did True Emotions, Green Light Girl.
Girl.
Yeah, dude, we did. There's some videos. I'll send them to you, man. It was a lot of fun. We're planning on doing it again. We're gonna do it again, man. It was just, dude, we were about to start the set, and somebody goes, "Charlie Sexton's outside," and we're like, "Oh no!"
Yeah.
We all got nervous, dude. We're like, "No, we can't be here. You can't see this." But dude, it was great, man. It was so great. It was so great. But that's the love, man. We, respect for those guys, man. They're incredible.
Yeah. Yeah. So, dude, I love the ADH project.
Thank you, man.
Really, man. Yeah.
Thank you, dude.
Now that's a whole different. Well, it's more in line with the Heebie-Jeebies than it would be with whatever kind of guy was going to go see shows at the Ritz. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure.
But I love it.
Absolutely.
It's you and did Curtis go to Nashville with you, or what do you do without Curtis?
Man, I have a crew there in Nashville that I've been working with. Like
I saw that.
First moved there. Yeah, I got lined up with a bunch of good people, man, and they just let me into their cliques, and I was lucky, man. Like, to be honest, I had a lot of help when I went out there. A lot of guardian angels, I would say, man, because I did everything I would do here in Austin. I went out to see people. When I first moved there, I took every gig I could, acoustic gigs, showcase, whatever. I didn't care, ride around. So I was doing like 2 a days, Sometimes I'd do a meeting and then go do 2 ride arounds. I was doing that almost every day. So I met a lot of people really quick, a lot of writers. And then they introduced me to their bandmates, and, it really didn't take long. The community there is pretty thick, man. It's, my third day there, I met Dan and Dave Huff.
Uh-huh.
They were doing a tribute, Giant. Remember Giant? Woo! I met them. They were doing this thing for a guy named Todd Zilla, and local artist. And so they did a reunion show, and I just happened to be the third day I was there. I saw the show, walked outside, and I was about to leave, and they walked out, and I got to talk to them, and they were real nice. Introduction was unbelievable. And they said, "Come to the studio if you ever want to do anything." And they were legit. I went and visited them, and super nice people. I don't know how that, how that kind of stuff happens. You know what I mean? It's like,
well, you're also fucking great.
How does that happen? He's one of my idols. He's like one of my idols, and I just stumble into him, basically. You know what I mean? Right. It's like that kind of stuff. I don't know, man. I'm just grateful for that kind of stuff, because, man, just getting to talk to him, pick his brain about anything, life in general, music, but just a lot of people like that. I met Guthrie Trapp. He's an amazing guitar. Brent Mason. I did NAMM with him. I got to do a NAMM show.
I saw that.
Him.
Yeah.
And he's unbelievable. And they were all nice, dude. They were, and I guess it's just the culture there too. You know, they got that family love just like Austin does. They're really, you know, just even, you know, ready to talk. I met Kenny Vaughn. Kenny Vaughn plays with Marty Stewart, and he's an amazing guitar player. He sent me books. Like, I met him in a bar, and I gave him my card, and he sent me a book, and he said, this is what I've been working on lately on my guitar hand, my right hand. And he sent me books, and I was like, I met him in a bar. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
And we just talked for 30 minutes, you know, over a drink. And I was just like, man, this kind of love it's special, man. I mean, you know, and it's everywhere. It's in the music community.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think it's just the city, you know,
No.
because there's just, you know, we are lucky to be a part of this, man. Definitely. Yeah. I mean, I don't know what kind of person I would be if I, you know, like I could have music in my life, but if I didn't have the music community, I don't know I don't know where I would be mentally, like, you know, for real, man. That's, like I said, it's a lot of mental health to play, man. It's really good. So
are you going to start playing out?
We were talking about crying at the show, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I've done a few shows. Like, we've done the quarantine ones. We did 1-to-1, the grand opening. Mm-hmm. And then we did Come and Take It. That was like,
I saw that, yeah.
Live stream mainly. I think they did a real small, I think there's like 20 people in the building. But what I liked about that, everything was really separated. We all came in through the back, and we were the only band on stage. You know what I'm saying? Like, only the guys. There was no switch outs with other bands, so it was real secure, you know, like all the protocols. I don't mind doing that. You know what I mean? I don't mind if we're the only group to the stage and have access on and off the stage without intermingling with the crowd. Like, I'm down for that. But yeah, I'm just waiting like everyone else. You know what I mean? I've said no to a lot of stuff. But I do see it starting to open it up. Everyone's getting their shots. Everyone's doing, you know, it seems like, I mean,
did you get yours?
I'm not excited yet.
Okay.
Because I just, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, I'm optimistic, very optimistic, you know? So,
I'm pretty optimistic.
I mean, are you getting excited yet? I don't know.
I am excited. I actually booked a show. I mean, for June.
Okay, good.
At 3:10, okay. But I was just like,
so, yeah,
I mean, I would.
Oh, nice.
I don't know if I'd play it next week, you know. And I went to that show, Brandon's show last night. And I mean, there wasn't 20 people there, but it definitely was not. I mean, it was like you had to have a seat at a table. It wasn't just straight up Antones.
Yeah.
And the tables were all pretty separated. I have played a couple of weddings.
Oh, you did a couple of weddings?
Yeah, in March with Skyrocket. Ones that we kind of had to play because they were reschedules from last year, and we paid ourselves their deposit already, so we had to do those gigs.
Gotta do them. But see, that's I think that's kind of what I'm saying. Like, you're the only people in your space. You know what I mean? It's like you're the only band performing, right? It's like, you know, that kind of.
One of the weddings was at a country club, and it was full on like maskless Houston rich people.
Oh, Houston.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and it was pretty freaky. And I wore my mask the whole time except for when I sang lead on songs. So. Yeah, you just protect yourself. That's funny you say that. We did we did this little party for Ron White, the comedian or whatever. Yeah.
Out here in Dripping Spring, and it was just a few people, like 10, 15 people. We're out on some land and stuff. That was pretty cool. But that was my first public thing, Yeah. So I was nervous, but luckily they were real good about it. They kept. I mean, we were yards away from everybody, But yeah, man, that's I want to get excited, man, because you know, I guess I'm optimistic. I'm being optimistic, hopeful that
but there's places
a little
like
bit of normality,
like Sam's Town Point and like Far Out Lounge. Have you been there?
Yeah, I actually got to play there with Curtis Lee. I don't know if, Miguel Curtis sings with me. I did a show with him, and I like that space, man. You're outside, plenty of room to move, and I like that giant like carnival tent they have out there.
Yeah,
it's great, man. It's a great vibe. And it's beautiful, man, under all those trees in the evening.
Yeah,
it's really nice.
But
man.
those shows, I feel are to step in the right direction.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah. And you see it. It's like the Armadillo Den. All these places that are the outskirts, the open air, Dreamland. I guess that place. There's like that formula works. The Moon Tower.
Right.
On the just right on the outskirts of town. That's a really good thing for Texas. It's like Billy's Ice House in San Marcos. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's like, you have that open air. Take advantage of Texas. The summer heat. It's like it's gorgeous. It's gorgeous, man. I mean, I don't know if that works anywhere else, but it's awesome here, man. Have you been to Sagebrush yet? Have you been in there yet?
Yes.
That venue's okay. I know Jimmy Vaughn did something there, or Mike Flanagan's doing something
Mike and
there
Sue do a thing.
Sue Foley.
Yeah, on Sundays.
I think they do something on the regular there.
It's on Sundays.
Yeah.
They're
you're right, Sundays. Yeah,
that's inside. They have a big outside space that's really nice, but the shows are inside.
That's what I was going to ask, if they were taking advantage of that outside. I haven't heard of any shows being out there yet.
Mm-mm. But that is a cool place.
Yeah, so I like that spot.
Ady, man, you put out that EP, The Lonely World collection of tunes. But were you also working on a full record that you haven't released yet or something? Is there like another?
What's funny is when I first got there, I wanted to record with ADH, the guys from here. And we started, and then, we didn't finish. So we had like 6 song ideas. And then I started working with people there, and I recorded another album, another EP, Life on Mars, and then that had 6 songs, and then so I started collecting all these songs. I ended up recording about 40 songs, and I was like, okay, I'm not putting anything else. I'm not going to put anything out. I'm just going to sit on these 48 songs, and I want to pick the best and put like make them match each record, because that's about 3 records, of solid music. Some of the stuff would probably just be B-side stuff, and so once I took a break and I started going back through the songs and seeing which ones I wanted to pick, make sense for a record, for an actual, full-length record. Time went by, I ended up with another band, the McCrary Sisters, and then I started touring. And, the work came fewer, getting to work in the studio, the dates got, not as many dates. So now I'm just sitting on all this music, and I want to figure out, the best way to release it all, or should I just release it all? You know what I mean? It's like, how do you be creative with this? Because, I don't know if people are buying CDs anymore. It's like, what is it really? What is the ultimate use of it now?
Well, with this,
how can I use it?
Sorry. With the CD,
like, what would you do? Would you?
Well, I'm doing it. Yeah. Like, I'm releasing singles because I think that you blow your wad on an album and an EP with one thing, because that's just how it works now. So I'm just got like a bunch of songs I've recorded over the last year, and now that stuff's because I also didn't want to release music without being able to play a show. I wasn't gonna fucking record this whole badass tune and then get on my phone and sing in my studio here. Like, I wanted to have like a show with a band and people that are cool,
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
So yeah, I mean, the thing is that it's constantly evolving and it's changing so fast now, by the day. But the one thing I think that I have seen, because I work with the Austin Music Foundation and I do this, so I see a lot of people releasing music. I see people releasing albums. I see people making CDs, but like my thing is your car doesn't come with a CD player anymore. Your computer doesn't come with a CD player. And then we're getting into this thing now where people are doing cassettes, and that seems weird, but all of a sudden you can get cassette players from Urban Outfitters, boom boxes again.
Oh, okay.
So
Really?
there's just weird shit going on. I don't know.
Yeah.
Hang on a second. My phone's ringing. Sorry. Hey, it's Hobby Lobby. It's Hobby Lobby. I know what it is.
They're just trying to keep you creative.
No, my painting is framed. Okay.
Oh, nice.
So these ideas, they're recorded already?
Yes. So I'm just sitting on them. I'm trying to figure out the best way. And a lot of it is the same thing with you. I didn't want to put anything out and not be able to tour off it or do any kind of live
At least do a show, yeah. It just seems weird.
Yeah.
I don't know if we're dinosaurs in that way, but I see a lot of young pop people just having the time of their lives and they're just making videos and stuff, and that's all awesome, but I just want to play fucking shows, man.
Absolutely, man. That's definitely our era, our era of music. We really live the live show. It's the live show. I mean, I grew up going to the big shows. You know what I mean? The festivals and the big shows and the monster concerts.
The Aquafests, even like those things.
Aquafest,
yeah,
dude.
Remember that thing they used to have?
Aquafest experience.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Tell me.
Oh, I was gonna say, my first Aquafest. Hold on, let me get you back. Was with Joe King Carrasco.
I love that guy.
To play Aquafest with Joe King Carrasco, man.
Playing guitar with him?
My first touring gig, I would say. Got out of high school and he let me. Yep. I was doubled with Tomas Cruz.
Did you?
It was Javier Centeno on drums, Mike Papadias, and then Ady Hernandez on bass. And yeah, man, my brother-in-law, he allowed me to get on the stage with him one night, and then Joe just said, "Hey, you want to come out on the road with us?" And I said, "Sure." So I was out with him for maybe 8 months.
I love that guy.
That was my first. That was my first, touring gig of all. And it was cool, man. I learned a lot from him.
And he was still climbing on shit at every show and
Yep, dude. He is, man. I got some stories, man, but some funny stories. But man, he was always super cool and amazingly kind to everyone, man.
So kind.
Just weird, just a little quirky, just super quirky, man. People would bring him these baked potatoes, right? And they would dress them up they would have. I don't know what they would do with them. They would be paint faces on them, and they would dress them up, right? He'd be like, "Oh man, these are awesome," and he'd keep them, right? And then we'd hit the gas station, and he'd take it all apart. And we'd eat those bad boys. He ended up cooking them. But dude, I don't know where it started. Why they were doing that with him, man. It was just hilarious.
Now
the guy was weird, man. I loved it.
Do you keep up with him?
Man, I haven't in a while. I need to reach out to him. I thought he was in
He's in Puerto Vallarta.
He has a place right now.
Yeah. But he's like the Sammy Hagar. What Sammy Hagar is to Cabo, he is to Puerto Vallarta. He has a club and he plays it all the time. And yeah, he's the coolest, man.
I need to go. Yeah,
let me ask you,
beautiful dude.
Do you remember when me and Kyle and Einar had that trio?
Is it?
It was just like Johnny Gowdy. I think that's what we went under. Is before Gowdy happened. But were you?
Yeah.
Were you playing with him at Cafe on the Square in San Marcos once? And they double booked us.
Probably, yeah, absolutely.
They double booked us, and then
probably.
And Joe was like, "You can't make them go home. Like, if they're doing this gig on a Wednesday at like Cafe on the Square, they're doing this shit for money, man." So he made them pay us, and he let us play. And it's weird because I remember when we were growing up, PV had a certain, like they were looked at a certain way. But then in the 90s, they came up with those classic 50s, right? So this is what I remember, and it reminded me when I looked at you have a page where you're endorsed by PV in the Classic 50, and I was like, wait a minute. I wonder if Ady was on that gig with Joe King, because I remember playing through it and thinking that amp was awesome.
Yeah, the Classic 30s, man, the 50, they're awesome. I love them. Yeah, dude, that was a long time ago, man.
Might have been like 96 or something. Crazy times.
Would have been the time for sure.
So you'll
That's a good story though.
Yeah. He really, I remember him going back to, like, the guy was like, "Oh, you guys can't play." And then he saw us walking out with our stuff and he was like, "Where are you going?" And we were like, "Well, we're double booked. And obviously you're Joe King Carrasco and we're not. So we got to go." And he was like, "Oh, no. No. And he took me back and told the guy, like, "Hey, they're playing." So, yeah. What a good guy.
Wow.
I saw him a couple years ago, maybe 3 or 4 years ago, and he played an in-store at Antone's Records on Guadalupe, and he was wearing a wireless guitar system, and he went out into the middle of the street during one of the songs. So he still does crazy shit. It's just a little more tame.
Yeah, sounds like it.
So,
oh man,
there's some great shit. I think that people that are listening to this should go check out. Obviously your record spectrum is great. I love this song, "No Mistaking," and there's a great video of it from the 512 Studios.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Omar, shout out to Omar.
Yeah, he's a good dude. Do you guys record there?
Yeah, man, that's where I work out of when I'm here.
Oh, good.
I do all my stuff there. We just did a commercial with my dad there.
Awesome.
For some San Antonio program. So yeah, man.
Nice. Omar just turned 50. How old are you?
Yep. I'm 49, man, so I'm chasing him. I'm right there.
When's your birthday?
January 22nd.
Oh, okay.
I'll be 50.
Oh, maybe we'll be in a
Aquarius.
Yeah, in a place that we can have a celebration concert.
Dude, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So, why isn't why isn't all your stuff on Spotify? Are you against Spotify?
I think I was for a while, but I use Spotify. It's a terrible. It's like I don't know. I keep thinking I'm going to put all the Daheeb stuff on Spotify. I don't really have a serious beef with it. I just chose not to put it on there. You know what I mean?
Right.
I was selling them at the shows. I figure you come to my show and get the music. But yeah, man. It'll all eventually be on Spotify and iTunes and everything.
Okay.
I'll dump the whole catalog eventually.
Good. Well, I love this ADH stuff. It's so fucking It's really, really good. And I love you and Curtis singing together.
Thank you, man.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I was wondering was
he's
like
amazing, man. He makes me sound good. My training wheels.
No, man, you sound good even when he's not around. But there's a certain magic. Do you agree with that? There's a certain something happens when you two sing together, right?
Absolutely.
Like Lennon and McCartney, man, or something.
Pretty much. Dude, from day one, we locked in really quick vocally. You know, I mean, I'd like to say, well, we have put a lot of work into it because we've played a lot of shows and rehearsals and stuff. But man, to be honest, we locked in pretty easily when we first met. You know what I mean? Like it was easy. And that's why I always say, for me, it's like he's my training wheels. He's like, because he's so on point. You know, him and Mario, they're both amazing singers. So
yeah,
and they're pure singers. You know what I mean? They can sing in key at any moment, anytime, without any instrumentations around them. They're pure singers. You know what I mean?
I hate it when people do that.
So I learned a lot from them. Dude, it's such a gift, man.
I know.
You know what I mean? It's like, it really is.
Yeah.
It really is the skill set, man.
Yeah.
He's definitely got it.
So the McCrary Sisters, no talk of touring yet or getting out and playing just yet?
Nothing yet. I'm just kind of waiting, and you know, I'm hoping they're a little older. I'm not going to say that they're old, but they're
right.
a little older than me, so they're being a little more cautious, you know. And the most of the stuff they do are big festivals, so that hasn't really opened up yet. You know, I mean, I guess it's coming, but so that's kind of what, you know, I'm hoping that will, you know, once the time is right, we can pick up and get moving again.
Yeah. Well, I hope so. I hope for all of our sakes that we're able to get up and get moving again.
Yeah.
But you will get out and play shows as the ADH project, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah. In fact, we're going to do a, just to throw it out there, April 30th, ADH is at 1-to-1. And then, and I think we're the only band on that bill again. And then the May 7th, we're doing Come and Take It with Mike and the Burnalls. That'll be Dahebegebees. That'll be a reunion show. Yeah. But with the Jonas Sax on board on the bass.
Oh, nice. That'll be Dahebegebees.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll write that down.
Gonna try to bring the horns. That, you know, that there was an era of Dahebes where there was horns and all that. So I kind of wanted to try to do that show, have the big horns and, you know, the big fun.
And they'll be
section with
there'll be some people,
Mr. Kevin Flatt,
people being able to go into that show as well. Some.
Yeah. Yes. I don't know how they're going to do capacity, but they'll definitely have all the, you know, protocols in place.
Right. What day of the week is that, May 7th?
In Austin right now, I believe that's a Saturday.
Okay.
Maybe. I have to look at the calendar.
What were you going to say in Austin? What?
But they're both weekend shows.
Okay.
I got lost track of that.
There's a big Dahebegebees painting at 1-to-1, isn't there?
Yeah. Mike Bernal's wife, Kate, did it.
Okay.
She was the one that drew it. She just did it out of the kindness of her heart and then donated it to Greg and Destiny. So
one time when I was there, well, many times I was drunk when I was there, but one time I was drunk and I was sitting there and I was with Don, may he rest in peace, MC Overlord, and I was like, they got a painting of the Heebie-Jeebies, they got a painting of Breedloves, and then they have like a photocopy like tucked behind the bar of Mr. Rocket Baby, like an 8 by 8.5 by 11 sheet of white paper. It's so sad. So I'm like, I think this is how much Greg
That's
likes
awesome.
me. He likes me like a copy from a from a thing's worth, not a giant painting's worth. But I do love that guy, and I love that place. Dude, it's been great talking to you. People can find find your website, adhproject.com. There's great videos there, great live stuff, and and your music is all on there. The ones that you keep off of Spotify and everything is on there. Is there a Dahebegebees website?
No,
No.
I don't know if it's active still. I think I kept it up to about a couple of years ago, but there's still a Facebook for us.
Okay.
That I still have active.
Okay. Well, dude, it's been great talking to you.
Yeah.
I'm glad you're coming back, man. When you're
You
back,
too, Johnny, man. Thank you so much.
yeah.
Bro.
When you're back, hit me up. We can go for like a walk around the lake, or
We gotta do
go get some coffee.
Absolutely. We'll do some food too, man.
Yeah.
I'll talk to you about my little project I'm doing, the melodies and menus.
Oh, nice.
Pairing a chef and an artist together.
Oh, that's killer,
Saving
dude.
the sound. Yeah. But when I want to pick your brain about it. We'll do some talking about it.
All right, dude. Well, man,
Absolutely.
it's been great catching up with you.
You too, man.
Take care, man. Stay in touch.
Blessings, brother.
You too, man.
All right.
Bye.
Cheers, man.
Gang, that was Ady Hernandez from ADH Project. What a great conversation. What a cool dude. I'm looking forward to hanging with him face to face. I should reach out to him and be like, hey, man, you want to grab some coffee or a cocktail at an outside place? Because I'm vaxxed up and I'm ready to see people. All right? All right, go to adhproject.com for all of your ADH Project needs, all of your Ady Hernandez needs. The guy's unbelievable. He sings like Stevie Wonder and plays guitar like Carlos Santana. That's what it says in his bio, and it's true. The guy's fucking amazing. Go check him out. adhproject.com. And hey, don't forget, when you're out there checking out the adhproject.com, you can subscribe to this podcast wherever it is that you find podcasts, be it Apple Podcasts, TuneIn, Overcast, Spotify, Stitcher. New shows every Tuesday, every Friday. Be talking to Bob Schneider this Friday. Yeah, that's right, Bob Schneider. From the Scabs, from the Ugly Americans, from Joe Rockhead. Remember that band? And the Bob Schneider's Bluegrass Massacre. All that stuff. You'll hear about it on Friday. He's got a new record coming out. All right, gang, let's hear some more music from ADH Project. Have a great day, whatever it is you're doing. Let's get down.
There's no mistaking what our hearts have been taking, but we made it this far. 'Cause every word you see, I take to heart. Oh yeah. And I will open up this home and we'll never part. Oh yeah. There's no mistake, no mistaking our love. 'Cause there's no mistake, no mistaking our love. There's no mistaking what our hearts have been taken. We're battered and scarred. There's no mistaking what our hearts have been taken, but we made it this far. 'Cause every word you see, I take to heart. Oh yeah. And I will open up this home and we'll never part. Oh yeah. There's no mistake, no mistaking our love. 'Cause there's no mistake, no mistaking our love. 'Cause every word you shit.